Welcome. You are here for Prep to Connect. This is the preparation event for Internship Connect. My name is Jason Arnone, and I'm a career advisor on the careers team. And I'm joined by my colleagues, Brittany Soares, who's at the back of the room, and also Susan Anderson. So our agenda is pretty straightforward. We're going to go over the nature of what this event is, Internship Connect. We're going to go through a checklist, each thing that is wise for you to take care of leading up to the event, during the event, and post-event. Then we're going to be giving some brief highlights on some of the companies that are participating. And we've got up to 48 companies registered at this point. Really excited about that. So to start with, much of what I'll be talking about tonight is derived from our dedicated website, and that URL couldn't be easier, internshipconnect.risd.edu. Has a lot of great information for frequently asked questions for students, and it's got the participating companies. Couple of things that are worth noting right up front. For anyone that may have participated in Internship Connect in previous recent years, we were able to change this photo to an in-person, real-life photo of people talking to each other, not over Zoom, but in real life. We're so psyched about that. So this image reflects that, and we'll be talking about some of the minor differences now with Internship Connect this go around. So for starters, what is Internship Connect? You should know that it's coming up on October 25th, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Rhode Island Convention Center, which is downtown near the Dunkin' Donuts Center. I don't remember what it's called now, but it's near that skating rink downtown. So this is a rare opportunity to meet art and design professionals in your field of interest. It's one of the best ways to learn how to network with employees who are interested in students like you, and it could lead to your next internship or artist opportunity. It's an amazing opportunity. I've actually participated in this event as an employer before, and it was a complete blast to be a part of, to meet with students and to be able to follow them year after year and consider working with them, either as interns or when they came up on graduation. And that's really the character of this event for all of these folks that are at the room. They've paid money to go in this room and meet RISD talent. So in many ways, it's the best case scenario for you all. You know that they want to meet with each of you. It's a great chance for you to take advantage of their investment of time and energy in this room. So let's start with a couple of provocative questions. True or false? I need to sign up for a meeting in advance to participate in Internship Connect, just like last year. Anybody got a guess? False. You do not need to sign up in advance. You just show up and you walk in and you look at all the companies at all the different tables, and you can go up and start talking to them. So no time limit, no sign-up process. It's at the convention center for you to interact with. True or false? Internship Connect is a good opportunity to review my portfolio with a professional. It's actually false. Internship Connect is really set up to be a networking event. You go up and you introduce yourself, you make contacts. It's networking. It's building your network so that down the line, you've got people to talk to for a job lead or career advice. So many things are so beneficial about networking. Last one, true or false? The majority of companies say they have internships available for this year. This is actually true. So part of the registration process, we did ask what their recruiting needs were going to be this year. They could choose that they have internships available, or they could say that they were joining the event for networking and possible internships. The majority of the companies said that they have internships available. Very excited about that aspect. Now, will you be getting internships on the spot? Most likely no. This is a networking opportunity. But knowing that they're looking for interns and they're here paying money to meet with you all, it's looking pretty good that they're going to be scouting for talent while they're here. Any questions about these basics so far? Okay, cool. We'll get into more detail. So who's participating? As I mentioned, RISD students who are sophomore and higher, so not our first year, but sophomore and higher and grad students, they can all participate. And then our professionals are listed conveniently on our website, that internshipconnect.risd.edu site. And if you just put in 2023 after that URL, it shows you the full list of companies. Now, with each company listing, we do list the shorthand for each major. So when the companies are registering for this event, we ask them, which majors are you interested in meeting with? And we even give them like a breakdown of every major there is at RISD so that they're fully informed. They don't always pay attention to that, but most of the time they do. And you can use that as a guide to know where you might be welcome. Now, something to know about this though, if a company is not listing your major, but you know you want to meet with them, and you know that your work is relevant in some meaningful way, by all means, go up and approach them, introduce yourself, engage with them, learn about what they look for someone like you. This is an amazing research opportunity for you to kind of test the waters with different companies. Even if you don't super want to work with them, you could learn a lot from this experience. So this is what Internship Connect looks like pre-pandemic. And this is what it's going to look like in the real thing. I've written up the student checklist, and we can see this checklist off to the right. So we're going to go one by one through each of these things to make sure that you know what you're doing going to the event. So the first piece is research. If you walk into this event without doing research, you're not going to get as much out of it. We're giving you every company that's registered, the majors they're interested in. Why not take a little bit of time to look up each company that you're interested in? Prioritize the companies that you're most interested in, like start a list. Study their websites, follow them on social media, learn about their staff on LinkedIn, look them up in news and industry publications. Try to get a sense of their work. This is going to help you have a more meaningful experience with them when you go up and meet with them. And we're going to get into some of the interactions and questions that you can ask them and things like that. But this research piece it's a really nice feature of this process. So the resume. You can see examples from our Resume and Career Essentials book, which is on our website. This person here is approaching a table and they've got some resumes printed out in their hand, you can see. And that's what you're going to do when you show up at this event. So you want to print out copies in paper of your resume. For many of us living in the digital world, that seems weird, but this is actually like a really nice tool or asset to have when you're going up to meet with someone. You can hand them a copy of your resume. If you want to get, especially for our graphic designers who may want to do like a nice version on nice paper, sure, go nuts if you want to, or use regular recycled paper and just print out your resume. It's just a nice way to engage with the professional. The professional, sometimes they might jot a note down on the piece of paper. Sometimes they might just like having the physical piece of paper in their hands. You also have the option to do a portfolio sample. A portfolio sample is not required. Many of you, it's fall semester. You're not there yet. You're not ready to start like generating work that you want to be sharing with people maybe. Don't worry about it. All you need is a resume to participate in this event. But certainly if you've got like a portfolio sample, it could be a nice leave behind for someone to learn more about you. And I know I've mentioned this before, but I just want to reiterate because sometimes there's confusion. Portfolio reviews are really discouraged at this event. We want this to be much more like speed dating. You're going up, introducing yourself, having a quick interaction, and then moving on. This is also out of respect to your peers who might be waiting in line behind you, just to make sure that like everybody's getting a piece of the action with these companies. The portfolio sample. If you chose to do one, here's an example of one here. It's really like a highlight of 3 to 6 of your best works laid out on a page at legible scale. So what I mean by that is the object of the game is not to fit 24 projects on one page where you can't even see what's going on in each of those little thumbnails. You want to make sure that someone could actually learn something from the images that they're seeing. So if your work is very detailed, then you'll want to have fewer images at a larger scale. You know what I mean. Simpler, lower level of detail, you can fit more thumbnails on there and they still hold up, right? You could put it double-sided if you wish. There aren't any hardcore rules about this. It's generally not a sample if you're handing over 12 sheets of paper. So try to stick with the nature of this. This is meant to be like kind of like a trailer for a movie. It's like just a sampling. And here's another example, a different type of work. So we've talked about resumes, portfolio samples, which are optional. Maybe you're looking for some last minute feedback on what you've been doing with your resume. We're available to you for drop-ins at the Career Center, just over this wall. Mondays and Fridays, 9 to 1 p.m. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 11 to 1. Really meant to be like 15-minute short meetings to go over one topic, something like that. Even if you've got questions about something specific with a company or Internship Connect, anything goes. So your attire, what to wear. You know, you want to express yourself. For some people, they want to go conventional, business attire. Sure, if that's what you like to do, if that's how you present yourself, great. Other people are more creative than that. I think really the best thing is to just care about your whole presentation, and that also goes for the way that you dress and how you make your best first impression. If Internship Connect interferes with a class or a studio, just please get permission in advance. You know, we've notified all faculty that we can reach through the school. They know that this is happening. They've seen this before, but as a courtesy, just like check in. Don't just like flake on your class, okay? How are we doing so far? Any questions? Now we're gonna get up to like the actual event. Yeah. So now we're gonna get into the actual event. Everything we've covered, of course, is just like in the preparation. So checking in. This is a picture of the exterior of the Rhode Island Convention Center, just so that you can recognize it when you get there if you haven't seen it before. It's located at 1 Sabin Street. We'll be opening the doors at 3 p.m. just to like walk into the hall. Sorry, not the hall. Walk into the actual convention center. You won't be able to start meeting with companies or organizations until 4 p.m. So, you know, do keep that in mind. We'll also have wayfinding signage. So outside of the convention center, my colleague Alan Tracy makes these awesome 2-foot by 3-foot posters. So you're going to know where you're going. It's worked many times in the past, but want to make sure that you know that that's something to look forward to. So you're going to need your RISD ID to check in. In the event that you forget it, we could look for ways to look it up, but really it's going to be quite busy. it would be best if you brought your RISD ID. So please don't forget that. And when you do check in, we'll be handing you an event brochure, which will have the company list, floor plans, some additional information. And you'll also be getting a name tag that you can wear around your neck. That'll enhance, as you're meeting people so that they can catch your name quickly. So the main event, it's all about connection, Internship Connect. So the way this usually goes is you'll shake hands, you'll introduce yourself. You might ask a question or two, and we'll get into some example questions in a moment. You'll present your resume or your CV, print it out, hand it over to them. You could also provide a portfolio sample, as we mentioned, or a business card. You can ask for a business card or for contact info as part of your conversation, and you want to thank them for their time. That's like the overview of what happens in this engagement. So you can see it's meant to be pretty quick. I mean, those questions, though, could open up a conversation, a larger conversation. And that's why we did that research to begin with on each company, to know what we like about it. What are some custom questions that you have for them? So here's some sample questions, and you can come up with your own, but these are a great starting point. What types of internships are available this year? What are you looking for in a potential intern? How are interns involved in the work of the company? So that can be interesting to know, like, are you working on real products, or are you contributing in a meaningful way to the art organization that you'd be interning at? When is the best time to apply? So many of us get stressed out because we're like, oh my God, I got to keep watching to see when the internships are going to be released. Again, this is the value of networking. It gives you intelligence that you would never have otherwise. You can find out when those internships are going to be announced, maybe before others. What is the best way for me to follow up with you? Would it be over email, over LinkedIn? So I love this question. It's a little bit sneaky because you're essentially implying that, like, hey, I really want to be able to stay in touch with you. And yet it shows courtesy because you're asking what mode of outreach would they prefer. Maybe you can get an email address out of this interaction. That would be ideal. So Artworks. Artworks does serve a purpose in this process. In addition to handing over your physical resume, when the event is done, we're going to be notifying all of you who participate that we're going to open up a digital resume drop option. It won't be open during the event. This event is all about you showing up, handing over that resume, having an engagement, having a conversation. Are any of us kind of intimidated at the prospect of, like, walking up to a professional and talking to them out of the blue? I still am. Well, Internship Connect is so many things. It's a great launch for your networking. If some of you are sophomores, or even the first year's students that are in this group, you're going to have one of the best first year networks ever, because you'll already have professional leads in your network. Even though you can't participate, we will be providing contact info for these folks that are participating, for our first year students and for everyone. Sophomores, juniors, you're adding to your network. This is awesome. But also, the very nature of this event requires us to get more comfortable with introducing ourselves, with shaking someone's hand, presenting ourselves, asking relevant questions. These are amazing skills to be learning. And for many of us being trapped behind Zoom, it's time for us to start flexing that muscle and getting better at those in-person interactions. And this is a very friendly group to be starting with. You know, we're not out there demanding that these companies join us. They are demanding to be a part of it. They want to be a part to meet RISD talent. So there's no better group to get started with, no friendlier group to start with. The other thing about artwork, so allow me to show you, this is what the resume drop will look like. If you search for it right now, you won't find it because it's not published. But each company will have a resume drop, and we will announce to everyone at the end of the event when these are available, and we'll make it easy for you to get in there and find these things. But it looks a lot like a job, but it is a resume drop. You will apply and you'll attach your resume. And then after the resume drop period, which will be about 24 hours, we will batch up these resumes and send them off to each company or organization. If they already have a paper copy of your resume and you're sending a digital one now, super. Like, who knows, maybe they lose your resume, or maybe digital is actually like really convenient for them. So you can do both. But as I said, it will not be available until we announce it to you all at the end of the event. Additionally, in Artworks, and everyone can actually start doing this now, you can look up companies that you're interested in, see the contacts that are available in Artworks, which can provide you with a name and a job title. And sometimes these companies will opt into sharing their email address. So you may even find people that are participating in Internship Connect on October 25th in Artworks. And that will be the case after the event as well. So Artworks is great for a few different reasons. This resume drop will be available after the event, and you can look up contact info. Any questions about this so far? Yeah. Yeah, so the question was, how many companies should we meet with, right? So that's a personal preference. Internship Connect is open from starting at 4 and it closes up at 7. You can participate in 20 minutes of that period, or you could stay for an hour or 2 or however long you wish. I think it's wise, and one of the points that we made in the beginning when you're looking at researching is prioritizing your list so that you know, like, who are the companies that you're super interested in meeting with, and making sure that you accomplish those before others. So to answer your question, there really isn't a limit on how many companies you can meet with. Some people will even use a strategy of, if they have a top company, they might meet with some other more random company first, just to like warm up. I mean, there's no rules against that. You know, these folks are all here to see you. And it is very likely that most companies that you meet with, no matter what, will have something useful to share with you. Even if it's that they're giving you info about their company and you realize that you really don't like that kind of company. That's a learning moment to learn more about what your tastes are and what your goals are. But that can be a great way to warm up before meeting with your ultimate set of companies. Thank you for the question. Yeah, that's a great question. So if a company table isn't busy, they don't have like a line, should you stick with the shorter time frame? You know, I think one thing that you can assume is that they have some time, and that you can be you can get more generous time from them to perhaps ask like multiple questions. So you can take advantage of that opportunity. I think what I love about your question, though, is that you're being sensitive about like, okay, are there folks behind me where you'd want to like be respectful of their opportunity? But if they're open, they would probably enjoy the company. And everyone that's participating in this event And as I said, they are invested in this, so they would likely have something useful to offer to you. All right. So the follow-up, after we've participated in Internship Connect, after you've dropped your resume digitally after the event, if you choose to take advantage of that, the follow-up. The follow-up is one of these universal things about networking, whether you're talking about Internship Connect, or you've gotten an email from a professor, or you met someone through LinkedIn. Nothing happens, absolutely nothing happens if you do not follow up. You can have an amazing connection that you've made, but you want to stay in some kind of follow-up and some kind of contact with them. So initially, you can always send a thank you note. Thank you notes can be an email message. They could be a message through LinkedIn. It could be a card that you send in the mail. There's no rules about this. You want to try to make an impression on these folks. But I do think that like a combination of thanking them for the engagement, connecting through social media, and then keeping in touch. And that seems like kind of an afterthought, but the keep in touch bit is, as I said, very important. If you know that you want to intern with the company and you meet them at Internship Connect, October 25th, maybe October 26th, you send that thank you note. And then maybe November 26th, you send them a follow-up to bring them up to speed on something you're working on in studio, or check in to see if there's any news about their internship announcements. Maybe you see that they've got some accomplishment that's in the media, or you see that they've released a new product, or it's an art organization that has a new exhibit, and you want to congratulate them on that. People love being congratulated. They love getting that kind of pat on the back. So why not incorporate that into your follow-up when you're keeping in touch? Then maybe after New Year's, you check in with them again. If you don't hear back from someone, it's okay. You don't have to wait for someone to follow up. You can continue to keep in contact. So what we've heard time and again, and from my personal experience as an employer before getting to work here at RISD, is that folks that kept in touch with me, that maintained a positive tone, that shared some work that they were doing, that is the best way to keep in touch with someone. You're not nagging anyone. You're adding value to this outreach. And you could stand a chance of being first in line when something does open up, because you're the one that put the time in and kept in touch with them. This is also part of the reason why they love coming to this event, because they get such excellent professional engagement with RISD students. So take advantage of this opportunity. Yeah, and I think I covered this too. Okay. So we've covered most of the things that have to do with Internship Connect. I do have some companies to highlight just for fun and to give you a sense of like the range and scope of the companies that are represented. Just want to mention, like this, we love engaging with you all and would love for you to come in for an advising appointment or drop-in appointment. Does anybody have any questions about the event preparation, anything like that at this point, before we get into going through the companies? You got somebody in the back, and then I'll get you. Right. So the question is like, what are the companies doing while they're at the event, while you're talking to them? What are these representatives doing? And is there anything that we're instructing them on to be doing as they participate in this event? So we have taken some measures to try to prompt the representatives on the proper way to get the most out of this event. We're telling them that this is not a portfolio review, for instance. We gave them some example questions or topics to use as part of their agenda. This was a way of like gently suggesting to them, like, out of all of these topics, what would you choose to talk about? So we're really trying to lead their hand a bit. We will also be following up with them after the event to let them know, like, hey, you'll have students reaching out to you. Please welcome their outreach. Please accept their connections if they're trying to connect to you. So we're trying to encourage them to engage in that way. But in the end, we don't have control over that, of course. And while we do make suggestions on what they do, most companies or organizations will be asking what you're looking for. They'll be describing what the company's purpose is and their work. They would be describing what their typical internships are offering. So basic information about their company, their role, and how that would relate to you and what they're looking for. But with that being said, sometimes a company surprises us and they show up and do something that we don't expect. And this is also part of the authenticity element of this event. Like you might apply to a job and get into an interview and something unexpected happens. You're all in these intense critiques while you're here at school, and you're receiving feedback all the time and incorporating that into your work. In many ways, you're very well trained for this moment. Yeah. That's a great question. So do you customize or personalize the resume for each company you want to meet with, or do you provide like a general one, right? So that is up to you. My guess is that for most folks, they will have perhaps like a couple of different directions that they're going in terms of industry, right? Where it may necessitate having two different versions of their resume. Just thinking out loud here, you could be very successful sharing one version of your resume with all companies. But if you want to go the extra yard, and if you have meaningful ways of amplifying certain aspects of each resume to suit the different career paths you're pursuing, there's nothing preventing you from doing that. I just don't want people to think that that's expected. If they're in the audience hearing this, you can get a lot out of this event with one resume and show your general skills and your general experiences and have that conversation that's more personalized towards what you've researched about that company. That seem fair? Cool. Thank you for the question. Yeah. So should we take a little tour through the companies that are participating? This is just a subset. As I said, there's 48 companies and organizations participating. So here's a quick overview. So Urban Outfitters, some of you may have heard of this company. They're participating yet again. They've been such a strong partner of ours, coming year after year to our events. And we're so psyched to see them again in person this year. A newcomer to this group, to this event, is UAP. And this is Urban Arts Project. And from their website, arts, culture, and creativity have always played a vital role in bringing people together. UAP continues this tradition with an enduring belief that creativity can inspire incredible possibilities. We have The Bench, just registered recently. They aim to provide personalized instruction, tools, and workspaces to aspiring and experienced jewelers in Rhode Island. Tapestry, brands such as Coach, Kate Spade, New York, Stuart Weitzman, amazing company, and they're here once again. They've been here before and they're back again. RAMSA, Robert A.M. Stern and Associates. This is an excellent firm that's been with us since the beginning, since I can even remember. And Matthew Solomon is an alum who comes each year to meet with students. He's awesome. And I actually last looked up, they have 7 alums at the firm at this point. Rag & Bone, excellent apparel and lifestyle company. And in the past 2 years, they've hosted 2 internships. It's a little data point I'm sharing for this version of the Prep to Connect to try to enhance the presentation. Pearl Fisher, their design of life philosophy means understanding how people's needs and desires are changing so that we can design for the lives we will all want to live. NBBJ architecture firm, they've hosted 7 interns over the past 2 years. Keekerland, awesome toy store that I love, and I loved buying toys for my kids. They hosted an intern. Joyous is about bringing trusted, engaging content and resources to moms and the people who care about them. We do this by combining evidence and design thinking to support moms when they need it most during the 12 months after having a baby. Joyous has hosted 3 interns in the past couple of years. Kakrobity Institute in Ghana, they're a residential learning center committed to sustainable development by exploring traditional knowledge systems as they pertain to sustainability, education, resourceful design, and social entrepreneurship. They come year after year. It's so exciting. HOK has hosted 2 architect interns over the past couple of years. Fidelity, 2 interns over the past couple of years. Formlabs, just because Formlabs is coming, I was so excited to see it. You know, they've been the innovators in 3D printing technology, and it's great that they're back again this year to meet with students. Downstate Design is a local organization, youth education, and community organization, and they've hosted an intern over the past couple of years. Crocs will be an Internship Connect. I don't think there's anything left to say. Look at that picture. Cider Mill Press, book publisher, they're back, and they've hosted 2 interns over the past year. Carnegie, they've hosted an intern this past year, last couple of years. Amazing textile company. Black Math, one of the darlings of the Career Center. They've been so supportive. Just this past year, they had some extra filament for their 3D printers, and they donated it to the school because they didn't want to throw it away. And on top of that, they also hosted 2 interns. They do amazing creative advertising work, and they're in Boston. BAMO, architecture firm, 2 architecture interns hosted. Anastasia Azur, their description, hand-weave sculptural art for interiors to evoke serenity and well-being by exploring the elegance of geometry. Anastasia earned her MFA in textiles at RISD in 2011. And Anastasia hosted an intern last couple of years. And Adventures, located in the Seekonk area, advertising firm. They participate in everything that we host, and they've had 4 interns over the past couple of years. But taking the top spot for most interns hosted over the last 2 years, we have RISD Museum with a whopping 15 interns. So that's what I got for an overview. We're happy to hang out and answer more questions. You should come and see us if you haven't before at the Career Center. I hope you get the most out of this event. You're now all prepared. This will be recorded and shared. We'll follow up with a link after this event. And if you have friends that missed it, please let them know that we'll be posting this. And I'm glad you're taking advantage of that. Have a great night.